Oh, yeah. Time for a little DAN show. All right, man. Hey, I got a great show for you. We're going to break down week one. We're going to preview Thursday night football. And then we're going to go over some week two stuff. I may not dive into it that much. I think I'll kind of leave that to Friday. What my plan is that I will head up to Iowa. More than likely, I will head up to Iowa Saturday afternoon. Put my bets down, and I'll make a video. I'll try to have it out as early Saturday as I can. It may be Saturday night. It'll just I'll kind of have to wait and see how things go. But And of course, the reason why you want to join the show instead of just watching the rebroadcast is that we talk about what you want to talk about. Plain and simple. Talk about what you want to talk about. I bring up everything that you want to discuss live. But the way I got the show structured today, and it's going to be a good show, we're going to talk about week one. We're going to talk about Monday night, all of Sunday's games. I don't think there's a real need to talk about Thursday night, but if you want to, of course, we'll bring it up. And then I'm going to preview Thursday night football after I get done breaking down week one. So here we go here. I'm going to drink a cup of my coffee. It's scalding hot. I slammed half an energy drink. And I'm still drinking coffee because I love doing this show jacked up. And by the way, I keep kind of forgetting about this. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Share this content with your friends. The more people we get involved in the show, the better it is. Ultimately, I don't need anybody to show up on the show. I can literally at any point in time just turn on a microphone or a camera and talk about football for 2, 3, 4 hours straight. I'm that big of a junkie. I can literally go hours on end about the NFL. I can talk 10 minutes straight about all 32 NFL teams. Easy. So, I mean, I could go 320 minutes. That's almost 5.5 hours just talking football. I can literally do that. It's not a problem, but your comments always make the show a little more interesting. I like to be organic. I like to just kind of free flow and ad lib, but the structure of the show is going to be breaking down week one, Thursday night football, and maybe touch base a little bit of what's going on week two. But first thing we're going to talk about is Monday night football. Tennessee at Denver. I'm in a big minority here. The reason why I say that is because all of social media points out that Denver had a chance to win this game, and Denver looked good. I didn't see that at all. Vic Fangio, if you don't know, is one of the older head coaches. I think the oldest head coach in the NFL. Old school defensive coordinator. He was the linebacking coach for the Dome Patrol. If you don't know what the Dome Patrol is, do a little quick Google search. Basically, it's the greatest linebacking corps, in my opinion, in the history of the NFL. The NFL Network had top 10 linebacking corps of all time. They put Dome Patrol at number one. I agree. There was a year that all four of those linebackers went to the Pro Bowl. All four. And they all four deserve to go. I mean, these are really, really good football players, but I could go on a tangent because I love talking about the history of the NFL. I'm not going to do that, but Vic Fangio is a guy who I think is a great defensive mind. He's not a good NFL head coach. I thought the Broncos, now I had Jerry Jeudy as my number 3 player overall, so it's not surprising Jerry Jeudy looks like a future star. He had a few key drops. I'm not concerned about the drops. I'm looking at the future. But bottom line, Broncos fans were thinking that this was going to be an offense that could compete with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not. It's not close. Now, I love Drew Lock. We went to the same high school. So I want to see Drew Lock succeed. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a Chiefs-Broncos kind of rivalry. But bottom line, they're not. But one thing that drives me nuts about Chiefs fans, they don't understand the Patrick Mahomes was a perfect storm. They had so many things going together. You have Alex Smith. You have a Andy Reid. You got the fact that he got to sit for a year. You have a Hall of Fame tight end, a future Hall of Fame tight end in Travis Kelce. You have a number one wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, maybe the fastest player in the NFL. You have a number one wide receiver in Sammy Watkins on the other side. You got a Pro Bowl kick returner on Miracle Hardman. You got Demarcus Robinson, who could be a number one wide receiver for several NFL teams. He's like option 5. So all these things had to come together to make Patrick Mahomes. Drew Lock doesn't have that. He has a bad offensive line. He has a bad head coach. Joe Flacco, when he got the starting job and they drafted Drew Lock, just flat out said, it's not my job to coach him up. And that's something that's very important. I think that when you got a young kid, it's important to have a mentor. He really didn't have that. And I think he needs that because he's getting beat up. He doesn't have a good offensive line. He doesn't have a good coach. He's got some weapons. He's got talent, but he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes level talent. And that's something Broncos fans kept on saying. This, to me, I thought was a team that could challenge for a wild card spot. I think this is going to be a 6-win team. I think Denver's going to be bad. Now, one thing I cannot overemphasize enough is that week 1 always has some overreactions. There's some weird things that always happen week 1. So I take everything you get in week 1 with a grain of salt. I remember, I think it was the 2012, or no, it was 2011 Carolina Panthers won the first game and then they lost the next 15. Sometimes you have things like that. 2014, the Tennessee Titans won here at Arrowhead. And I remember Jake Locker looked really good. They went 2-14. I think it was the 2003 or 2004 New England Patriots lost to the Buffalo Bills 31-0. Lawyer Malloy, who was either traded or I think traded to Buffalo, had a big game. People thought Bill Belichick was crazy. And then, of course, New England won Super Bowl. That Bills team went 6-10. That was the Bills team that had Drew Bledsoe, too. They had Bledsoe and Lawyer Malloy and won that season 1 game 31-0. And people were like, wow, New England Patriots are stupid. And well, New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, and that Bills team went 6-10. So you got to take what happens in week 1 with a grain of salt. But a lot of people, I kept on hearing about, a lot of people on social media, a lot of people in national media kept on saying Denver looked good. I didn't see that at all. I think Tennessee should have won this game by 20 points. And I understand they missed 3 field goals and an extra point, but I mean, to be honest with you, every single one of those field goals, you could make a case that out of those 4 field goals, 1 or 2 could have been touchdowns. Tennessee should have won this game by 20 points. And I don't think they're too much better than they were last year. When I say last year, I'm not talking AFC Championship. I'm talking 9-7. I'm looking at Tennessee. This is a 9-10 win team. That's kind of what I'm looking at. This is a 9-10 win team. And I think they should have beaten Denver at home. Now, keep in mind, there's no fans, but they should have won this game by 20 points. Denver, to me, looks like a bad football team. They started off slow last year, ended up picking momentum, and people that are Broncos fans are going to make tons of excuses. This is not a good look. The Broncos do not look like a good team. I don't care what people think. I had Jerry Jeudy rated very highly, so it's not surprising that he looks like he's going to be a future star. The one thing I will say, the drops that he had, ignore those. Just ignore those. You got to take those with a grain of salt. He is going to be a superstar. He is going to be a great player. But Denver to me looked really bad. Pittsburgh Giants, nothing really unexpected here. The Giants have a lot of youth on defense, a lot of good players, no real star, no real pass rusher, no real leader. So as the season goes on to be kind of interesting. I really think you'll see a middle of the pack defense. This is a team that really just needs like one superstar on defense to be like a top 10 defense. I think they're just one player away. On offense, the offensive line was bad, which is disappointing, but Steelers defense is good. This is an experienced coaching staff going against an inexperienced coaching staff. If you're a Giants fan, I wouldn't worry too much. I think that if you're a Giants fan, you got to really be thinking about 2021. This offseason, you lose Baker with that unfortunate incident. But this is a team that's on the rise. Pittsburgh did look good. Benny Snell can play. I had a huge draft crush on Benny Snell. Really liked him coming out of Kentucky. Chase Claypool had a decent game, splashed a little bit. All the athleticism in the world, very raw. The one thing I will say about Pittsburgh, you were supposed to win this game 26-16. People are saying that they're a legitimate threat. I would pump your brakes a little bit. I think Pittsburgh's probably going to be a wild card team. They're going to be dangerous because they're a veteran team, but this team's far from elite. They were playing against a team that, let's be very clear, I'm off center here a little bit. All right, you know what? I'm just going to stay like right here. The thing is that I want to see how Pittsburgh does against a good team. The Giants are not a good team. So for those of you that are all over Pittsburgh, I think you really need to pump your brakes. Speaking of a team needs to pump your brakes, and that's Dallas Cowboys. I kept on telling everybody this is not going to be a Super Bowl caliber team. It's probably going to be an 8-8 team. I think of all the teams in week one, which team really showed its true colors is Dallas Cowboys. You have a team that the offense is going to make some plays. So at times the offense is going to look good, but the defense is not that good. You're learning a new system. You're going to have issues. The team's not sold on Dak Prescott, and I think it kind of shows because I don't think Dak Prescott's really cut out for this particular offense. But if you're going to build the team around this particular type of offense and you're going to build it around Dak Prescott, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I think you got to take it with a grain of salt. You're not going to have that good of a team. To me, it really seems like they're putting the coach into play, they're putting the system into play, and they want to find another quarterback. If that's true, great. There's some good quarterbacks coming out of college. If you're going to go that route, I could see that. To me, that makes sense because you got three really good receivers. You have one of the best running backs in football. You have some playmakers on defense, but overall defense is going to be bad. KDE, let's just go there. He's going to be out, looks like 6 to 8 weeks. So that is going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. With the Rams, the stadium's cool. I like Goff a lot. I don't think he's elite. I think he's better than most people think. And he has got a good receiving core. I was a little surprised Malcolm Brown led the team in carries. That really shocked me. But the Rams, I think, are a decent team. The over-under, I remember, was 8.5. And I was like, man, I really wouldn't touch the team because they're too talented to be an 8-win team. But they're not really talented enough to be a threat in the playoffs. Aaron Donald's best defensive player in the league. The defense, I need to see more of it. I really want to see more of it. I don't think holding Dallas to 17 is really indicative. Give me a week or two on how the Rams are going to look. But I think you're going to see a team that's going to hover around nine wins, somewhere between 8 and 10. I think the talent is more than an 8-win team, but I think 10 would be excessive. With the Cowboys, I've been saying I think this team's going to be about 8-8. It's funny because the NFC East is a weak division. They're going to compete all year. I still, believe it or not, and I'll talk about it here later, but I do like the Eagles to win the division. Let's start with the afternoon games. I got Arizona at San Francisco. This is a game I got on my DVR. I'm really excited to kind of go back and watch this. I predicted this correctly because I've been telling people the 49ers are not going to be that good of a team. Take the under. I was really high on under 10.5. By the time I got up there, it was 10. The schedule is beneficial San Francisco. This is not a good team. They had a lot of injuries. So I kind of get that. The offense is not that good. Garoppolo's okay. Arizona. Hopkins had a big game. Kyler Murray looks really good, and I think at times he is going to look really good. I know there's a lot of talk about him being a dark horse MVP candidate. More and more people are bringing that up, and I get it, but I don't see that myself. I still see a guy who's dangerous. If he stays healthy for 16 games, and keep in mind he had 91 rushing yards, I don't want to see him do that, but he's got really good arm talent, and DeAndre Hopkins is, you got Hopkins, you got future Hall of Famer in Larry Fitzgerald. Christian Kirk, guy I'm really high on, is almost forgotten about. I really think that I want to see more of the Cardinals, but I got them kind of as a 500 team. But big win for them week 1. I want to see more of them before I really kind of jump on the bandwagon. I've been hard on Kyler Murray because I didn't think he could play quarterback in the NFL. So far, he's proven me wrong, but he's got to be able to do this consistently. So, Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC. Some people are talking about Drew Brees losing something. I didn't see that at all. I know Michael Thomas got banged up. Apparently, he's going to try to play through it. He may miss a few weeks. I'm not sure of his situation, but this is the best receiver in football. This is one of the, I think the NFL did the top 10. I think he was 7 or 8, but he's one of the best players in football, one of the top 10 players, and now he's going to miss several weeks or he's out. So that's going to affect offense. But overall, I think the Saints impressed me. Tampa Bay week 1, I don't think you really are. I think people that are expecting them to jump out of the shoe or jump up and jump away or jump start. Let's just say that. This is a team that I think really kind of needs to get going. I think that this is a team probably going to start slow. There's some good pieces in Tampa Bay. This is a good team. Okay. I predicted over under for touches for Fournette was going to be 8. I think he got less actually. This is a team that's going to get better. Don't just judge. There's a lot of people are like, "Oh, I knew Tampa Bay." Just slow down. Tampa Bay's still a dangerous team. They just lost to a really good team. The Saints, I got over 10.5 on the Saints. I feel comfortable with that bet. Do I think they're the best team in the NFC? Yeah, I think that's fair to say. But every year for the last couple of years, something's come up. And keep in mind, Drew Brees is over 40. I didn't see a real decline, but a lot of other people did. I didn't see it. But again, that's something I'd kind of like to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Don't forget, give this video a thumbs up. But bottom line, Saints to me seem to have the best team in the NFC. I'm going to stick with that. I feel really good about over 10.5 wins for the season. Next game, Chargers at Bengals. It was funny because I would have took this game at 3. It was 3.5 and then jumped down to 3. And a lot of people raving about Joe Burrow. I personally just see a rookie quarterback who needs more to really be successful. I'm interested to see how he does against Cleveland, but people are showering him with praise. I was not. I think that this is a guy who would benefit from having a veteran backup, which he doesn't have, would benefit from a year on the bench, which he's not going to get. But he does have talent around him, which is kind of cool. But it'll be interesting to see what's going to be there for 2021. I've said this many times that Joe Mixon's a dark horse MVP. He's one of my favorite players. This is a guy who's got an amazing amount of talent, but you can also put 8 in a box or put 7 in the box now. and really focus on him and try to let Burrow beat you. And I think that's safe to do all year. This is not a team that's really going to be, I think the over under on them, I think was at 5 or 5. I think it's 5.5 actually. And I think covering the under is a safe bet. It'll be interesting to see what this team does in next year's draft. So, but is the foundation for the Bengals solid? Sure. Yeah. With the Chargers, they gave the ball 12 times to a rookie running back. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I draw blanks on names, and that's okay. Fourth-year rookie, Joshua Kelly. That's it. Or I know it's Kelly. I think it's Joshua. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Played a little more than I was expecting. If they have a solid player as a fourth-round rookie as running back, you're going to get away with some things. Tyrod Taylor is a guy that I've always liked, but it seems like even when Tyrod Taylor plays good football, the team's almost guaranteed to score like 20 points. I mean, he's not a guy that you can really build a team around. I think he's perfect for what they're going to do, because sooner or later they're going to let great. I am embarrassed in my first brain freeze of the night. I get brain freezes. Sometimes I forget my own head, but Justin Herbert, I'm sorry. Justin Herbert's the future of this team. This team's building for a future. Keenan Allen is a man among boys. So there are some good things about the Chargers, but I think anybody who thought that the Chargers were going to compete with Kansas City was really messed up. And I'll talk a little bit about that game. More than likely, I'll probably lean towards that Friday. Baltimore and Cleveland. Baltimore won big. No big surprise there. People that are jumping ship on the Browns. You have a new system and a new head coach and a young team and a first-year head coach. You had to expect a slow start. There's some good things in Cleveland, but I hear a lot about OBJ being traded. I'm a little surprised about that, to be perfectly honest, and really nothing should surprise me out of Cleveland. The thing is, if I'm the Browns, I actually keep them and just try to stick with a coach. I thought Ron Rivera would have been a better fit. I think that's who they should have went after. That way they could have kept Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator from last year. He was a longtime defensive coordinator in Carolina, so you could have kept some continuity instead of rotation at systems, which is really the number one thing you need to do. The number one thing Cleveland needs to do is just stick with a guy. And if Stefanski can keep the job, I think he could have some success. But you have a winnable game next week. I'll talk about that a little more. Baltimore, I think Baltimore and Kansas City are two best teams in the AFC and in the NFL. So it's not surprising that you win a game big at home when you add it to the team. J.K. Dobbins had 2 touchdowns and kind of mop-up duty from what I've gathered. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I saw the red zone. So but this was expected. So I think that if you watched this game or you saw that the Ravens won by 32 points and you're like, oh, wow, I mean, this really shouldn't have surprised you. One of the bigger shockers, Jacksonville at home against Indianapolis, come back to win. And Gardner Minshew, 19 out of 20. I really like Minshew. The one thing about Minshew that I liked coming out of college, he's a natural passer. I remember saying that. I really liked him as a 6th-round pick. I thought this was a perfect backup to Nick Foles because if nothing else, the guy's a natural passer. It's just, I think anything over 20 yards, you kind of got to worry about. I really want to watch more because he looked like he bulked up. And, I mean, he's never going to be Patrick Mahomes, but he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be. The one thing is that this team's young and athletic, and it wouldn't surprise me if Jacksonville's one of those teams that wins 2 or 3 games. It wouldn't surprise me that. But one thing about Jacksonville is I really thought before the season they could win 2, they could win 10. You just don't know. But they did a lot of good things on the defensive side of the ball. I like the players they drafted. This is a fast, athletic team, and I like what they did. I like how they're building this team. I was a little worried about the offensive line because they went with Jay Gruden as the offensive coordinator once you run a West Coast system, which is completely different than the power system that they were running. And the biggest problem that you have with this is the offensive line. You got Cam Robinson on the left side, who some people thought should have been a right tackle, some people thought should have been a guard. Jacksonville's one of the few teams that said, hey, you can play left tackle, which is I kind of want to. I'll ramble about the intricacies of tackle. So let's just say that he's a power fit, but he's not really a guy a lot of people thought had the athleticism to play left tackle. And then you get Juwan Taylor, who I thought would have been a better guard, but you put him at right tackle. Can these guys handle the West Coast offense? I'm not sure they can. So I was a little surprised that after being down, they were able to get everything put together, and very surprised that they won. With Indianapolis, I think that you did lose Marlon Mack, but I've been telling people I think Jonathan Taylor is a dark horse MVP. Do not be surprised if Jonathan Taylor does some really, really good things. Indianapolis, even though they may not win this next week, they may start off 0-2. This is still a team that's very dangerous. I think Phillip Rivers is a good quarterback. I think he's going to play well for the rest of the year. Yeah, I'm aware he threw 2 interceptions, but I still think Indianapolis is a dangerous team. Jacksonville, I still have no idea. Are they going to be a 2-win team? Or are they going to be a 10-win team? You don't know. I don't know. I think out of all the teams in the NFL, Jacksonville's the one I got the biggest question mark about because they're young, they're athletic, but what now? They're going to be fun to watch, though. They're going to be fun to watch. Next is the game that I made some money on, the Raiders at Carolina. It was a high-scoring game, which I really wasn't expecting. I really thought the Raiders would just blow the Panthers out. Panthers played better than I thought they would, especially offensively. It's a team I thought was really going to struggle. Bridgewater played pretty good, believe it or not. I still don't think I think Carolina is going to be a dumpster fire. I think this is still going to be a bad team. The Raiders found a way to win. Entertaining game. It'll be interesting. I still think the Raiders could be a playoff candidate. They will improve. They will get better as the season goes along. Carolina, I don't know about, but fun game. Hey, I won one of my bets. So when I go next week I go this weekend to Iowa, thanks to the Raiders, I will be up a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, though, you still got to watch out for the Raiders. Carolina, I still think is going to be a dumpster fire. So next is the biggest surprise. Not that the Redskins won, but they came back from being down 17-0 to win. Chase Young, I've been saying, is a man among boys. I thought he was better in both better than both Bosa brothers coming out of Ohio State. I think this guy has a chance to just be a superstar. Had a really good first week. This is a guy who's got a lot of talent, and there's a chance this defensive line for the Redskins could be really good. Now, this is a team I still think is a work in progress, but great win. If you had to give me a team that lost that you don't have to worry about, I'm going to say it's the Eagles, and people are going to say, wait a minute, Dan, they looked really bad. They have all these injuries already. It's really not that big of a deal. And I say that because the Eagles, more than anybody, know how to adapt. They're very well coached. They have a good organization. So don't worry about the Eagles. They will bounce back. It may not be right away, but they will bounce back. So don't worry about the Eagles, even though the one thing about the Eagles is they end the season strong every year. So don't be surprised. Remember last year they're 4-7, won 5 games straight to win the East. So don't be surprised they start off slow. They always end strong. And that's one thing that we'll talk about throughout the year, but don't worry about it. Miami at New England. I have over 9 for the Patriots. I feel really good about that. New England's defense still looks like one of the best defenses in the National Football League. I think they will be one of the best defenses. Cam Newton doesn't have to be a superstar. A little surprised at how much he ran. I think this is the team to beat in the AFC East. I don't think they're an elite team. I said this in my 2019 video about the Patriots. I think Dynasty is dead, but this is still a good team. I think they win the East. I think that they're a team that, you don't want to play in the playoffs just because you're playing against Bill Belichick and a good defense, but this is not a team that is an elite team. I think the two teams in the AFC, I've said this again, I'll say it again. I'll keep on saying it. It's the Chiefs and the Ravens, but I still think the Patriots are the team to beat in the AFC East. I really believe it. And my bet, Patriots over 9, I feel good about it. I feel good. Next game, Green Bay at Minnesota. So I was not expecting 77 points. I'll tell you that. What's funny is Rodgers threw for 364. I watched this game. There was a couple drops. I actually thought Rodgers could have gone over 400 easy. And I've said this so many times, when Rodgers is at his best, I've never seen anybody play better. Never. And can you imagine how good this team would be with another wide receiver? Don't give me that Mendez Van whatever hyphen last name. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in football. If they had a number 2, oh God, this team would be so good. People are trying to tell me last year Packers had top 5, top 10 defense. No. Minnesota they're without Danielle Hunter, a lot of youth. I would still fear the Minnesota Vikings, but giving up 43 at home is not a good way to start. But fear the Vikings. Packers fans, you've seen Rodgers do this many, many, many times. This has never been the problem. The problem is you didn't have a defense. You think you got a defense, but you still gave up 34. So when I look at Green Bay, I still see it. I see about a 9-win team. The over-under, I was tempted to take over 9, but that's kind of where I see him. I see him as a 9-win team. This is not an elite team, but big win on the road. Next, Chicago at Detroit. I am dying to watch this game on DVR. I haven't done it yet. I saw something that was really surprising. I saw Trubisky started the game 4 out of 10 and finished 20 out of 26. If that's correct, he had 16 straight completions after starting 4 and 10. And is it the Lions who injured? I think like a couple of defensive backs got hurt. Is that the problem, or Trubisky just kind of start off slow and get going? A combination of the both. I actually went on the Luke G. Field review. When I say win, I just visited, left a couple comments in there. He always gives me a shout out, which is really cool. Luke and some of the fans, not Luke specifically, but some of the fans there were really expecting 2-2. And I'm like, no. This is not a good football team, the Detroit Lions. And I tried telling people that, and more people are on the Lions bandwagon. This is not a good football team. You have Stafford, you have a great quarterback, you have some really good skill position talent. I'm not sure about your offensive line, despite how much money you gave to Taylor Decker, your left tackle, Taylor Lewan, whatever. It's not that good of a team. I thought the Bears were a team that could really surprise in the North, but they had some players that are injured. The line went from 1 to 2.5. There's a couple reasons why. Some people thought it was Adrian Peterson. Some people thought that it was simply because Trubisky was the starter, which is interesting. But ultimately, what it is that I think the Bears are a pretty damn good team, and the Lions are not. That's what I think. It'll be really interesting to see how things go in the AFC North, because I'm not really sold on Green Bay. Minnesota had a rough start but could improve. Chicago has a good defense. I don't understand why David Montgomery didn't get more touches. This is something I'm going to have to watch and find out for myself. If you're a Lions fan, tell me. I mean, it was funny because people were wanting Patricia fired after after the game. I'm like, whoa. Now the bye is after week 4. Could he be gone at the bye? The answer is yes, he could be. He absolutely could be. Will he? I don't think so. I think he actually finishes the season. I think Detroit's going to win around 4 or 5 games, and there's talent there. But there's every bounce has to go the right way for Detroit to finish anywhere near 8-8, and that's not going to happen, especially after this game. Chicago's a team that you may want to worry about, especially if Trubisky can get hot. Next game, New York at Buffalo. Buffalo really dominated this game. People that are, it's funny because I love Josh Allen, but Bills fans are just way too high on Josh Allen. This is still an average quarterback who had a good game. My buddy Mike, who's not in the show, he's joined the last couple, but he picked Buffalo -6.5. And he collected. I was a little worried about that because I thought of a divisional rivalry, but the Jets are not as bad as they seem, and I'm still not sold on the Bills. Bottom line, Bills fans, pump your brakes. I've been telling you that all offseason. And Jets fans, I would not be overly discouraged, but this is a team that will get better. The offensive line, you got a bunch of new pieces among the offensive line, including Mekhi Becton, who's going to need some time to develop, even though you put him on the right side, not the left side. Don't get too discouraged. Bell, as far as I know, is just banged up. He's still going to play. And finally, the Seattle Seahawks, who, as if you've been watching me, you know I got 2 bets on Seattle. I got them over 9.5 and an extra 100 to win the division. I feel really good about that. The one thing about Seattle, a lot of people have a misconception about. Excuse me. The defense still isn't good. Adding Josh Adams is Jamal Adams. I'm sorry. It's good. It's really good. I mean, I love it. But you add a superstar in the middle of what's supposed to be preseason. It's going to take some time. You held them to 25 points, and they scored some points, got some yards in garbage time. That's fine. I think one thing about Seattle is you're not going to see a team with a good defense. I think they just need to be average. As the season goes on, I think this defense will get better, but I don't think that you're going to see a traditional top 10 defense. It doesn't matter because you got a lot of weapons on this offense, including Russell Wilson, who every year seems to get better and better and better. He's never won an NFL MVP award, but he's always in the running, and that's no different this year. He came out of the gate swinging. I've been high on the Falcons. I still am high on the Falcons. It's you went against maybe the best team in the NFC, and I say that because even though I just got done ranting about how the defense is not elite, with Russell Wilson and some of the weapons they have on offense, this could be the best team. I think it's still the Saints, but I got money on them to win the division. I think this is a double-digit win team. I am higher on the Falcons than most people, but it wasn't a good game. Let's be very clear. It was not a good game. I am very, very, very much looking forward to the Falcons and the Cowboys. So I kind of went over everything here. And if you haven't, well, you know what? I'm going to kind of skip this a little bit. I'm going to briefly share my screen here. And I'm going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Okay. I'm going to talk about Cleveland and Cincinnati. And at the same time, I'm going to break down some of the games I'm looking at. I'm not going to break down every game, but I'm going to break down some of the games. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My dog, there's a dog outside who's being murdered, apparently. There's a loud but my next door neighbors have a small dog. Cool dog, but he's barking right now. That's okay. All right, Thursday Night Football. Here's the line is it's over-unders 43.5. Cleveland is a 6-point favorite. I actually like Cleveland to cover this game. I'm not putting action on it, but I actually do think that they will cover. It'll be interesting because I want to see how Burrow plays. But one thing I do like about Cleveland, I'm not a Myles Garrett fan, but he can rush the passer as good as anybody. And I think that he's really excited to play in a primetime game. I expect him to have at least one sack. One thing about Joe Burrow, a lot of people raved about him. I didn't. I saw a rookie quarterback trying to learn to play in the NFL. And I think you're going to see that the majority of the season. I think it's really key that they didn't get a backup quarterback. So I think he's going to have some struggles. Cleveland does have some weapons. I know Cincinnati held the Chargers to 16 points, but the Chargers are not an offense that's trying to score 30 points a game. They want to play good defense, and their defense is better than the Browns. But I think this game is going to be fun to watch. I would avoid betting it. But Dan, I need to put some action now. What's the bet you like? I would take Cleveland in 6. To me, this game, and by the way, I would avoid the over-under, but if I 43.5 is a small number, but to me, this has like a 24-17 feel all over it. I would avoid 43.5, but probably under. I think you're going to see kind of a if I'm Cleveland, what I do is I run the ball a lot. I run the ball a lot. I play a lot of ball control, and that's kind of what I'm expecting. It wouldn't surprise me if Cleveland has anywhere between 38 and 40 minutes time of possession. I think that what you're going to see is Cleveland just run the ball all over Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, if they're smart, they do what they did last week. They try to get Mixon involved as much as you can, take the ball out of Burrow's hands as much as you possibly can. Of course, if you get down, he's going to have to make some plays. And I'm not saying he can't make plays. It's just that he looks like a rookie quarterback who's adjusting to the speed and system of the NFL. And I think he's going to do that almost the whole year. So I would take Cleveland in 6, but I don't advise betting this one. I'm going to bring up these games. These are games that, I'm just jacked up. Drinking lots of coffee. I just slammed half an energy drink because I'm that type of guy. All right. Ooh, I'm going to spill coffee. Okay. I like the Jets. Okay, here's how this is broken down. Is that matter of fact, you don't need to see me here. Let's go ahead and take that, and I'll remove the banner here. I'm going to be honest. Here's how this is. This is the over-under, and at the bottom here is what I like. I got the Jets in 7. It's an old school approach, but taking a home dog. You got San Francisco, who did not look good against Arizona. They're traveling to the East Coast. If I am correct, and I should have double-checked, I think this is a noon game. I'm pretty sure this is a noon game. My apologies. I should have been better prepared. Yeah, it's a noon game. Okay, I was pretty sure about that. So it's a noon game. You have a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. I've been telling people San Francisco's not that good. Keep in mind they can win this game 24-20 and you still win. I like the Jets to cover 7. I know they looked bad against the Bills. They're at home. I think they will look better. San Francisco is not that good of a team, folks. They're just not that good of a team. I've been telling people that. So I do like it. Am I going to put action on it? I would put action on 7.5. I really would, but here I'm not sure. But this is a game I am going to eyeball, and of course I'll make a video. I'll have it released Saturday for you if I go that route. Minnesota and Indianapolis. If you watched last week's show, I was eyeballing this. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite at Indianapolis. Jacksonville is a young secondary. Minnesota is a young secondary. I do like Indianapolis. But I tell you the truth, if you've been watching me for any time, you know I got crush on Mike Zimmer. There's a lot of things I like. The one thing that bothered me about this game is that how the hell did Gardner Minshew go 19 out of 20? Because Kirk Cousins can throw the ball. And I like Minnesota to win outright. So if I can get 3 points, that's a really good game to put action on. This is another one. I went on the Luke G show, and I'm telling you, I asked around, and some people agreed, some people didn't. But ultimately, I love Green Bay in 6 at home against Detroit. I think Detroit's in a really bad situation. Green Bay looks really good if they can play the same way. Keep in mind, Detroit's secondary's banged up. I think their defense is bad. Bottom line, if I'm correct, and Trubisky threw 16 straight completions, Rodgers may throw 40. He may go perfect 40 for 40. Who knows? But bottom line, Rodgers will have a big game. I really like Green Bay. This is one I'm probably going to put action on. Giants at Chicago. I actually expect this to rise up to 6. But 5.5's not bad. Chicago's at home. The Giants are a team that's young, still learning and developing. One thing about Chicago is that even though Fangio left to take the head coaching job at Denver, the defense really didn't change. I'm going to keep track of the health report, because if everybody's healthy on the Bears, this one I'm probably going to put action on. I know that. Here's another thing you got to think about. Chicago played at noon. The Giants played on Monday night. And they're also traveling to Chicago. So I really like that advantage. I like Matt Nagy. It'll be interesting. I'm going to watch I haven't had a chance to watch the Bears-Lions game yet. I got it on my DVR. So but I am really high on this one. Another game I really like, Jacksonville was an 11-point favorite. They're still 9, and I think this is going to drop. If I could get 9.5 or 10, I'm probably putting action on this. The thing is about it should be JAC. I put Jack in there. Thing is, though, Tennessee, if they have some kicking worries, I don't think that they're going to put up a ton of points. It kind of surprised me they kicked that many field goals against Denver, a team that, even though they have a defensive mind, I don't think has a great defense. Of course, Von Miller being out. Jacksonville, I think, will make this a competitive game. The line really, the reason why you're getting at 9 is because it opened up at 11. I think this will drop to 8. If this can stay around 9, I am going to put action on Jacksonville. I think Tennessee wins this game. Let's be clear. I do think Tennessee wins, but this is a team with a young, fast defense, and a team that Jacksonville can make enough plays to cover 9. If it drops to 8, I may back off, because I think this again has a 24-17 type feel, and of course over under 42.5. I wouldn't touch that, but I do like the over, even though I just said 24-17. But I like Jacksonville 9. Next, Kansas City and the Chargers. The over-under is 47. I'm kind of surprised because it wasn't, if I remember right, matter of fact, let's take a look. It was 51. So it dropped quite a bit. A lot of people, keeping the Bengals to 13 points and stopping Patrick Mahomes in this amount of weapons is a different thing. I keep hearing the Chargers have a defense that can contain Patrick Mahomes. That's not really true. Bottom line, the Mahomes hasn't really needed to unleash an arsenal on the Chargers. A couple of years ago for the season opener, they put up 38 against the Chargers. They can put up over. Matter of fact, the Arrowhead scores 31-21. And yeah, Mahomes didn't do a great job. But bottom line, when you play a C-plus game and you still beat the division rival by 10 points, that's not bad. I like the over on this game. I think the line's like 8.5 or 9. Bottom line, I don't like that number, but I do like 47. I probably, even though they cost me on that half a point, I am still very high on the over under on this game. I like over 47. I'm probably going to put action on that. This game, Baltimore at Houston. I'll be honest, I don't understand why 51 and a half. I think honestly, you could flip flop these two lines right here. I actually think that this should be like 48. I'm a little surprised it's at 51 and a half. But I still, you know what? I'm not sure I'm going to put action on this game, but it's one I'm watching because I like under 51 and a half. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. Can Baltimore score a lot of points? Sure. And then, can Deshaun Watson make some plays? Absolutely. I actually like Houston to cover 7 points. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. I think Baltimore wins. That's what's preventing me from really putting action on this. But I do like Houston to cover 7. If this gets 7.5, I might put action on it. Remember, Houston played Thursday. Okay, Houston played Thursday, and they're at home. This is not a terrible team. So Baltimore should be careful. More than likely, which one do I like better, under 51.5 or 7? I would probably say under 51.5. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I really don't. It's nothing against Baltimore. I know they're one of the highest-scoring teams in football, but that was last year. Yeah, you put 38 against Cleveland. Houston's got a better defense than Cleveland. Next game, and this is one I really like. The ML stands for money line because I actually like New England to win this game outright. Now, keep in mind, I got money on Seattle over 9.5 in Seattle to win the division, so it behooves me to have New England win this game. New England traveling across country. Yeah, I get that, but I don't think that bothers this team as much as others. The one thing I do know is that Seattle doesn't have a great defense. New England's got a much better defense. Atlanta, nothing against Atlanta, but Atlanta's defense and New England's defense, two totally separate and different things. I like New England to win this game outright. If I can get 4 points, this would probably be my number one game. So I saved my best for last. So let's see here, and boom, there we go. All right. Hey, listen, I've been really lucky. My last couple of shows, I've had some really good input. I haven't had a lot of guys that have been joining the show consistently, and that's okay. I can literally talk football without anybody joining for hours on end. But because I haven't had the same type of interaction that I've had the last couple of weeks, I'm going to cut the show short. It should be about an hour anyway, but I hit everything that I wanted to hit. I didn't go into a ton of detail on the Thursday night game. But I will say this, I like Cleveland to cover. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it'll be a very entertaining game. I want to see, here's what I'm kind of looking at, is I want to see how's Joe Burrow look. And I want to see how's Cleveland, because remember, they're got a new scheme on offense and defense. Cleveland, both these teams have talent. But I don't think either one of these teams are going to win a lot of games this year. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's going to be a fun game. I do like Cleveland to cover, but no, I'm not putting action on it. I don't recommend it. But keep in mind, you can always email me. You see theDANshow at yahoo.com. Hey, listen, I'm going to end the show Friday, 7 p.m. I'm going to go over all my picks and what I'm expecting to do when I head up to Iowa. I'm going to make a video Saturday, so you see, because I put my money where my mouth is. So listen, hey, have a good night, and I will see you Friday.